the two ladies that we lost, but it's built as an outdoor classroom. There are gorgeous benches out there and lots of rocks. I know Christy's been out there with her kiddos, but please use it. And if you can't find a time to take your class out there, go out there during your lunch and sit. It's really nice out there right now. There's been a nice breeze blowing, and you can hear all the leaves rustling. And one thing that's happened, maybe a month or so ago, the stone that names the garden, it's the Garden of Infinite Spirit, and it gives Becky and Jane's name on there. And then also, it just says that, we're also honoring just the spirit of learning and how it continues on. So anyway, just a reminder that the garden there is there for you to use. It's yours as a classroom, so enjoy. Rock setting.
Thanks, Terry.
The flowers look good out front too, Ms.
Yeah,
Edgeworth.
yeah, the student council, Ms. Dunsworth, did a good job of kind of cleaning and stuff out front as far as landscaping goes. Cynthia, do you want to go ahead and, while we're setting up the computer, why don't you go right ahead?
Okay, just a quick, where's the mystery man? Thank you. The Faculty Amazing Race Challenge begins next Wednesday, the 29th through November 5th. We have been planning this with PTO. Amy Bain has been working with us, Ms. Asbury and Ms. Moore, and Mr. Young and I sat on Monday afternoon for several hours to kind of finalize all of the details and kind of make sure we had everything organized and ready to go. And I think we do. So it's going to start next Wednesday. It's going to last a week. Hopefully as we get closer, then I will be able to slowly roll out more of the kind of structure for it. Again, told you this last time, it's not going to disrupt any of your class time. You and your team will hopefully be participating either during planning periods, during lunch, before school, after school, in that timing, not disrupting class. I think you might be able to, maybe, we talked a little bit about maybe getting somebody to cover your advisory and being able to maybe do something during advisory, but mostly it's going to be, like I said, during those times that you are without kids. A couple things about teams, so you can kind of be thinking along these lines. Teams can be between 2 to 4 players, and if it's feasible, because we have such a large number of new faculty members, we would really like it if you could find a new faculty member to join your team. But if it's not feasible, I understand you don't have any time with them at all during the day. It might be really difficult, but we want to encourage you to get to know as many new faculty members as well as get to know our faculty altogether as possible. You need to gather your team members and submit them to me by Friday the 24th. So I need, if it's just you and one other person, great, that's all I need. If it's you and 3 other people, great, that's what I need. So you just need to tell me, submit to me, you can email it to me, you can drop it in my box, a list or whatever, but I need your team members by Friday. You and your team members need to come up with a team name to submit us on Friday as well. It doesn't have to be real original, it doesn't have to be super creative, but you do kind of need to be thinking about what you're gonna call yourselves. Obviously, it's school appropriate, but we don't know. So anyway. I also have that Mr. Young is going to hand out to you. This is one piece of the Amazing Race Challenge. It's a high school fun fact sheet. You have a half sheet. We wanted to kind of give you something so that we didn't just say, hey, we want a high school fun fact. We wanted to give you a handout so that you could jot it down and submit it back to me. You can put it in my box or you can hand it to me. But we want to know some fun fact about you, either from junior high or high school. It doesn't have to, preferably something that not everybody knows about. This will kind of be a part of the Amazing Race, so the more we, the more obscure it is, then perhaps the slightly more difficult it will be for somebody to figure out that it's you. Kind of like some of the things that I was thinking, again, yours to be as creative as possible, but I dated the high school quarterback all through high school, or my first car was a red Mustang, but just something that not very many people, especially here at school, would know about you. Okay, the last thing, that next Friday, November 7th, is our first potluck. Angela Clark is in charge of that, and she'll send out a sign-up genius probably in the next day or so, and we'll announce that'll come be our culminating activity for the Amazing Race. We'll announce the winners. We'll kind of have a little celebration during that time for this amazing race. So just kind of want to make sure that you are all kind of on board and that you're ready to participate. Anybody have any questions? And one other thing that I do want to say, PTO is helping us with prizes. There are several activities that require some materials, and they're helping us gather those materials and all that kind of stuff. If you have something, you're affiliated with a business of some sort, and you want to make a donation, for example, my brother-in-law owns that dumb arcade. So I was thinking, and it's a whole nother story, is why I call it dumb arcade. I was going to donate some free passes. So that would be, so if you have an affiliation with another business and you want to, you have an opportunity to, that's great. Any donations are welcome. We'll be able to kind of throw that in. There's going to be prizes throughout the week. It's not just going to be the winning team that gets a prize. So anything that you have, like I said, PTO is helping us with that, but we wanted to definitely give you guys an opportunity since it is a Cheers faculty and PTO sponsored event. Questions? Lindsay, Andrew, did I forget something?
If they want to be on a team, who do they send if they don't have like a team form? If they just want to submit their name and they don't have a team.
Okay, if you don't have a team, if you feel like I'm going to use Lindsay as an example. She was like, I'm kind of in the GT room by myself and I don't get out very much and all this kind of stuff. What if I can't find anybody to be my team member? And she was tired of being team members with Richard. So she was like, what do I do? And so I'm going to pretend like Lindsay's that person. Lindsay, just submit your name to me and I'll find you a team.
Other people are in the same boat, I'm just saying.
Go find those people.
Send your name to me and I'll see if I can, and surely there'll be a couple of other people that are, like I said, in the same boat. We'll kind of partner you up and hopefully you'll get to know them throughout the whole thing. Other things, thank you for bringing that up, Lindsay, because I forgot. Sorry. Okay, that's me.
I just want to highly encourage this. I think it's a great way to build team capacity within our building and to really get to know each other, and especially for a lot of the new ones, new teachers, myself included. I know we're going to participate and have fun with it. So it's a great way to get to know people a little bit better. Just kind of make us even bigger family, even more of a family. Mary Wormington is here, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about the United Way. I have some things to pass around, and I'll turn it over to her.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That was a lot of stuff, and she talks really fast. You're hard to follow. I'm here. How many of you currently participate in United Way? Great. That's wonderful. And I know that you're thinking, okay, here she is. She's going to ask for money. Yeah, we always do that. Doesn't matter where we go. We're going to ask for money. Very easy. Payroll is painless. You guys are on the ground when it comes to our children of Northwest Arkansas. You know that many of them, especially in Washington County, are living in poverty. We also know that you, out of your own pocket, will buy school supplies. That's where United Way, every year when we do our Stuff a Bus program, we try to make sure that schools like Woodland always get school supplies so you can have in your closet and you can go to and distribute accordingly. One of the things that we have always done, how many of you are familiar with the nonprofits that United Way supports? Boys and Girls Club, yes. Name one.
Life Source.
Horses for Healing. What else? Come on, I saw some hands. Springdale Youth Center. What else?
Big Brothers.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Right. We will always support those kinds of programs, whether it's a Meals on Wheels program for the elderly or an organization that is giving after-school care to our children. But I am here today to tell you first, when you get your brochure, and I think we're going to put them in your boxes, correct? You're going to get a pledge form, you can read it, and if you choose to be a part of United Way, that's great, because for every dollar, last year, for every dollar that was raised
through United Way and was given back out to the community, it was matched 3.3 times. That's because some of our organizations will take that United Way dollar and leverage it to apply for additional grants. Some organizations multiply it 10 times, some multiply it 0, some multiply it dollar per dollar. So your dollar, if you choose to just give $1, will be multiplied and used for programs like the ones that we just mentioned. But I'm here today to tell you of some of the services that United Way provides that not very many people know about. And I'm finding out more and more that there's a lot of people that could use these services and are not. And I know not everybody received a brochure, you will get one, but on the inside, for those of you that have one, open it up. And you're going to see this little wheel. There's this little wheel right here. And you see this 25,000 plus calls. Does anyone know what 211 is? I know y'all think I'm a teacher. 211 is a call center. When you have a crisis and emergency, you dial 911. When you reach the end of the month and don't have enough money to purchase diapers or to purchase medicine, or you have enough that you have to make a choice between buying medicine for your child or paying an electric bill. 211 is a service that anyone can call, and they will give you the resources that are available that can help you through that end of the month or whatever situation it is. We've had calls that range from just an elderly lady that needed somebody to talk to, or we have a young woman that is desperately looking for diapers. United Way's 211, you can call it and get that information that you need and be able to service, give you at least a little bit of comfort that there are programs out there that can help. Very simple. And what we can do is bring some posters too, so you can put them around. We were out at JBU last week and somebody said, well, we have one in our break room. I said, what about the hallways? He said, well, why would they need them? I said, because there's crises among our youth that happen every day. And it's unpleasant things that we don't want to hear about. But oftentimes, especially the young adults, are hesitant to talk to a friend or talk to a parent, even talk to a teacher. But they will call a stranger, and 211 can help them. And I could go into all sorts of stories about that, but we have a young lady in our office that went to JBU and grew up in a very stable home, but ended up using 211 when she just couldn't handle. After a period of time had gone by, she just couldn't handle having that turmoil inside, that knowing that there was a friend that she really needed a report that raped her. And she was able to use 211 and the Northwest Rape Crisis Center to help her get through all of that. So it happens, and it can be an 8-year-old as much as it could happen to an 18-year-old. That is available. The other thing is this $8.8 million worth of merchandise. How many of you know that there is a warehouse in Bentonville that is a United Way warehouse? Do you know someone that uses it? A food pantry?
You know, I just know that, because I used to be the United Way person in the building, so.
Okay.
I was just given lots of information and know that that was very helpful to me.
Okay. Well, we were at a Fayetteville Public School training a week or two ago, and we were talking about the warehouse where churches, nonprofits, over 160 different organizations, some are United Way supported, some are not, but it's still available. And we have a lot of churches and food pantries that will go to the warehouse and get essential items. One of our biggest ones that I always talk about is the Boys and Girls Club, because the Boys and Girls Club is able to give out hygiene packets to the boys and girls. And somebody said, what do you give a kid? I said, there are some children, teenagers, that have never had a deodorant stick. The warehouse puts these hygiene kits together and then distributes them to different different facilities, especially after-school programs. $8 million worth of product went out to those hardworking families last year. Dolly Parton Imagination Library, hopefully you have heard about Dolly Parton Imagination Library. A child can be sponsored from the age of 1 month all the way through age 5 with a book a month for $125 for 5 years. Unbelievable. I didn't know that until we got to talking about Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And the reason I say that is because I came from a United Way that was much smaller. We had a staff of 2.5 people. I ran it for 16 years. And when I saw what United Way was doing in Northwest Arkansas, I said, I want to go back to Northwest Arkansas because this is exciting to me that we are providing services to people all over Northwest Arkansas. Our diaper bank, this 1170, has escalated to over 1,300. We distribute diapers to people that need that diaper. And believe it or not, there are kids out there, babies that are sitting in a diaper for 8 hours at a time. That shouldn't happen. It's unacceptable. Somebody needs diapers. They need to call 211 to get those diapers. And it's so easy to do. And we shouldn't have children sitting in dirty diapers or diapers that have been washed and put back on them. Going back to the Dolly Parton Library, we have right now over 14,000 children that are registered. If you know of a child or a child that is almost here, ask them to call the United Way office and sign them up for Dolly Parton Imagination Library. You probably know friends, family members, parents of your students that are awaiting a birth of a child. Have them sign them up. We don't need to have families in Northwest Arkansas that never have a book until they go to school. That's important. Call them. It's easy to sign up. And here's the one that I get most excited about. Our income tax service. It's a free tax service, and it's available to anyone that needs help. We have a little video, and if you go on the United Way website, you can click on it and watch it. And there's a lady that talks about how she went back to work and she didn't file her income taxes because it was going to cost her $249. Well, you can go online and do it for $50. But when you, again, have the choice between taking that $50 and buying food for your children or yourself, or applying for your income taxes, it's a no-brainer. You're going to choose for the medicine or the food or the diapers or whatever it is that you need to buy. United Way provides a free tax service. And right now, and I'm going to leave this little poster because we're looking right now for volunteers and we'll get more put all over the place, but we're looking for volunteers to go through the training, to get certified, to be able to provide those services. Last year, $3.3 million came back to the hardworking families of our community. And I'll tell you a real quick story about a young lady that had called our 211. She needed formula and diapers for her child. The operator helped her get to that particular resource and then asked her, have you filed your income taxes? She says, no, I cannot afford it. I said, please let me set up an appointment for you. Please keep the appointment, go get your taxes filled out. She did. Well, we calculate all of those and keep track and make sure that we know exactly how much is coming back to these families. That's where we get the $3.3 million. The lady called back a couple months later and she said, I don't know who I talked to, but at the time I needed to buy formula and diapers for my baby. And they talked me into keeping the appointment with a tax person. And they filled out my taxes, I filled them out, and I went on. I've gotten a $5,000 check because I hadn't filled out, and it earned income tax credit. She was able to repair her car, keep her child in a safe daycare, and put some money away. That's just one success story. The cap is really, when you start looking at it, it's $58,000 for a family of 4. A lot of us qualify for that. as time goes on, and right after the first of the year, we will bring back and put more posters up about where you can go and get your taxes billed. Again, this is for you to pass on the information of what United Way is doing. And he's coming closer to me, that means I have
You would like to know more about this, so she's here to tell us.
Morning, everybody. I am going to talk to you about our grant guidelines, and specifically, there's been some big changes. Our board, over the last year with the applications, decided to reevaluate how we distribute our grants, the cash that we distribute, and the way that the new application will look. So I wanted to pass it. We're visiting every school, and so bear with me. This is pretty brief, and I'm going to go over the high points. You can get the full guidelines on our website if you go to programs and grants. That is not the application. The guidelines are really just the rules of what the foundation's doing. So our mission is to provide resources or programs to you guys that are not available through the district's budget. This does go quick, I'm sorry. We have a $3.5 million endowment that was given through gracious individuals in the community, contribute annually to that. And we actually use the net income for our projects, so we can preserve the endowment to grow. And this year, it's looking like about $140,000 will be able to be distributed in 2015. So that's how we get our budget for the distribution. So you can just, that was just a little fluff. So okay, there we go. Something that most people do not know is that our grant is available for anybody. It is available for staff. It is available for teachers. It's also available to anybody in the community. And I know that sounds strange, but that really was the mission early on. It's in our incorporated papers and all that stuff, and so that means that anyone in the community can apply. So when we decided to start redistributing that information, what that means is that they have to come to you as a partner, either administration, staff, teacher, what have you. They have to have a partner. They can't just come into the school and implement their program. So you'll have to have a letter of support or a letter of agreement attached to your grant. And let me draw a picture of what that looks like. So last year, Appleseeds, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and Amazium applied. And they all had partners that were teachers that they thought that they could collaborate with to bring in projects. I will say that none of them did get funded, but there was other reasons, not because they were outside entities. There was just some other things that didn't work out. But, and I'll probably cover that when I do this. So, another big change this year is that in order to apply for the grant, you will have to fill out an online pre-qualification survey. I don't know why I keep doing this little box, but that's what I'm going to do the entire time I talk. So the pre-qualification survey is meant to assist you, because we don't want you guys to fill out this huge grant application and not make it to the chute. And there's some things that we have changed and eliminated within the things that are eligible for, and this qualification survey will tell you right off the bat if you're eligible. You can fill it out as many times as you want. You can call us up and say, why didn't it work? And I'll say, you need to take out this, or you need more cowbell, or you need whatever may be there. It wasn't going to make it anyway, so don't worry about applying. If you do make it through the chute, you'll be notified within 1 business day, so it won't slow you down. And you will have to attach the fact that you passed that. You're eligible to apply to your grant in order for us to review it. Do y'all have any questions on that? There will be about 5 questions, maybe 3 that are just touching a box, and then there may be 2 open-ended questions about your project. So everybody, okay. So, let's get to the next one. So the projects that the board considers having the greatest consideration are those that are innovative, pioneering, and unique. These are, I'm going to do the box again, ones that are really outside of the box, and the ones that really move the needle. That's what we're looking for. I know that last year we received a lot of grants because some of the budget shortfall that happened in some departments, and although we do think those are important programs, that's really not the goal of the foundation. The foundation is to look at those programs that are above and beyond the normal classroom experience. Now, that doesn't mean we won't entertain them and we won't see their merits, because we did fund a lot that did have budget shortfalls. But that pre-qualification survey will tell you whether or not you're on the mark. And the rest you can read. I mean, it's just pretty much the same. The ones that we don't we're not going to consider this year, and this is where I take the most time because there are a little bit of caveats. We won't reimburse for projects that are already within the school's budget. We won't sponsor fundraisers or prom parties or re-grant into another program. In the past, we have never funded personnel costs. And the asterisk is there because this year we will consider personnel cost if you can make the justification in your application that that is outside of your normal teaching range. We've had applications where people are doing things on their lunch hour, after school, during the summer, and there's a threshold there that the district uses, so that's another thing that's going to happen within the pre-qualification survey that will be able to tell you whether or not you're on track. And this year is new, we will not fund social services. And we got a lot of basic need applications last year for hungry children, for children that needed clothes, the children that needed basic needs, and we are going to stay within the realm of academics curriculum. We think there's a lot of agencies that are doing that. We don't want to duplicate services. That does not mean counseling or behavioral stuff. So, because I mean, as a social worker, which I am, social services means all. But when I'm really saying it's basic needs, I mean, if there's a behavior need that needs to be changed, that is something totally different. I'm talking about what United Way just talked about doing. So we don't do what United Way does. We do federal public education. Okay. The big one. Everyone groans. No iPads, no iPods, no laptops, and no PCs. Now, there is for general classroom purposes. If you can make a case in your application that it is not ever going to be within the district's budget for those needs, or if it is so unique and so outside of the box that it's not going to be used just for general classroom, we will entertain that. And again, that is going to be flushed out during that pre-qualification survey. I may come back and say, your project's great, except for the equipment, or have you explored the budget for this? Who knows, just depending on what you come up with and what your project is. Also, this year, another one we haven't done in the past, but we will entertain. We don't normally do professional development, but we saw there was a great need last year in our applications. So if you can prove that your professional development can be replicated, can be taught to other teachers, or is vital to the project that you're doing, like an absolutely vital point, we will also entertain that. I was going to say something on that, but I think we're good. Oh, IT. So that does not include smartboards. That does not include printers. That does not include red cats. That does not, I mean, just specifically those iPads. All other IT is still there for application. So here's the good news. We're not going to award just one time a year. We're going to award 3 times a year. And we'll award an application in the fall, and we'll award an application in the spring. And you can apply for both of those timelines. And you can apply for the third one, which I'm going to talk about, but you can apply for all 3 grant applications as long as it's not the same project. So you as an applicant can switch up and do whatever you want every time you identify a need and put the application in there. So in the fall and the spring, we have now decided to cap the application at $5,000. That is because we're now going to offer a new grant opportunity called the BIP. It was just made up, but anyway, it's a big initiative project. And we will accept applications between $5,001 to $25,000. The reason why we separated them out is because our grant application requests are growing. And sometimes we had $500 projects going against $38,000 projects, and it was impossible for our board, who are laypersons, they're not grant writers, to really do apples to oranges on that. So those are separate applications. They will be competing separately, and your $5,000 will come over here. We're taking that distribution amount of $140,000 and setting aside the BIP. So the BIP won't drain the $5,000 grants, if that makes sense. This is our best avenue to try to get. And Woodland got a big one last year with your 3D printer, I believe. And I want to say to you guys that something that I haven't ever really had an opportunity to say is, if you don't put an application in, we can't fund you. That means if you identify a project during the school year that you need funding for, we will not fund it. That's what there's someone in the district that does that. There's someone that you can call Holly Johnson, and she does grants and she finds funding for projects in between. If If you don't put an application into us, we will not fund it. So I encourage y'all to apply for all three of those if y'all haven't, if you think you might want to do it. And let me tell you, my other part is, the board has now started to do 2 tiers, awarded and awarded without funds. And that means we ran out of money, your project was fantastic, we keep it in a file, and when I get a call from another foundation, if I get a call from Walker or Baum Foundation or Tyson or Oak Foundation, who was the one that helped you guys out, and I will give them, I said, I have 3 proposals I can entertain, I can show you, and I will pull your grant if you didn't get funded, and I will give it to them. I may rewrite it to fit their mission, and I'll call you first to let you know, hey, I'm going to submit this for you. But if you don't have that application in that file, I can't do that. But we get them all the time. I mean, a lot. I have one coming up for Bites, Booze, and Barbecue coming up in this week, and I'm looking through old applications to see who we didn't fund that might fit that project. So if you've got them in our file, we can help you out. If you didn't get funded right away, we'll continually look for the funding, but not if you didn't turn anything in. And this is the other big news. So the application for the spring will open December 5th, not in March, and May, and April like we've done before. So December 5th, your pre-qual will open up and the application will be available online. And we will do as much communication as we can all throughout that we can possibly get to you guys. The grant due date will be January 9th, and the grant will be awarded as soon as possible so you can implement it through the semester in the spring. And then the same thing rolls over for, go ahead and go to the next one. And that's the VID2. The big ones do that time as well. And then in July, I know it's the middle of the summer, I know that we could not find a time that was anymore, we tried everything. And there wasn't a time that really worked. So y'all will have these days as well. August 21st will be your grant due date, and the grant will come out as quick as possible. So don't forget, you won't get reviewed. We didn't attach that pre-qualification survey verification. And you didn't follow the instructions. I know that sounds crazy, but we had 70 applications last year. We pretty much accepted all of them, but there was pieces missing. And our board will ask questions to me, and if I don't have that, like if there would be a budget missing, or the budget doesn't match the project. And so we are now going to vet through those and remove them from the application pile. They won't get reviewed by the board. We'll send them back to you. But hopefully that won't happen because of the pre-qualification survey. Or are there people that will turn them in without the signature of their supervisor? Stuff like that. And so if you didn't do that, they're not going to make it to the review team, just to warn you. Okay, so submit your applications. Don't just do them even if you think there's a snowball's chance. And I think the rest I've just said. We won't fund projects that haven't been funded. And you're good. You can go to our website right now, and there's a whole 2-page, 11-font, single-space grant guidelines if you want to read the fine print, but that was the nutshell. And last but not least, the grant application will not be long this year. I think that we heard a lot of feedback from y'all that there's technical problems and the application was too lengthy, so we're going to shorten it down because we know there's more and quick deadlines and get it to y'all as soon as possible. And I will come back, if y'all want me to, and provide technical assistance on the application too. So we can say, this is really what we're looking for here, here, and here, if you want me to. So, y'all have any questions? I know I went through fast, but I know your meeting's about over with. Okay, fantastic. Thank you guys for having me.
And it's a great way to get some extra money, especially for those innovative ideas that you have. I know Chris got one last year. Has anybody else gotten one in the last few years? All right, we need to take advantage of this money that's out there and really help support those great ideas that we have.
And I will say that another one, we're shuffling the applications this year. We used to do it in alphabetical order, and we're Woodland and Vandergrift. By the time you get to the W's and the V's, there's a little fatigue. So we are going to shuffle them this year, and I'm a Woodland alumni. So.
All right, and we'll if you want to look over the mission and the goals, and we'll look at those on our next meeting, which is the second Wednesday in November. All right, thank you guys.